Hey everyone, if you're feeling, well, completely overwhelmed by this constant flood of new AI tools, you are absolutely not alone. Every single week it feels like there's a huge new update, a new model, or some shiny new software that promises to completely change the world. It is exhausting. But you're not asking if you should learn AI, you're asking how. So today, we are going to clear away all that noise. I'm going to give you a highly practical, step-by-step roadmap to go from total beginner to effectively using AI to buy back your time. Stick with me, and by the end of this explainer, you will literally be ahead of 99% of people trying to figure this all out.
Okay, let's dive into this, because honestly, the very first thing we need to do today is relieve some of that pressure. You might be feeling a serious case of FOMO, looking at every headline and benchmark, wondering if you're falling behind just because you aren't testing every single new tool that drops. Well, the truth is, most of that is just noise. Trying to keep up with every little update is basically a full-time job. If you simply stick with one solid model, instead of chasing every new release, you're going to be way better off. And look, let's just get rid of the biggest mental barrier right out of the gate. You do not need to be technical to master this. Most modern AI tools are built specifically for everyday, non-technical users. If you're even a little bit curious and willing to experiment, that is honestly all you need. There is absolutely zero coding required for anything we're going to talk about today. You really only need a few solid tools to succeed.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll demystify the AI landscape. Then we'll cover core skills, specifically mastering prompts. After that, we'll walk through 3 practical AI exercises, followed by a roadmap for solving daily friction points. And finally, we'll look at combining tools and automating. Quick and easy.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the AI landscape demystified. Let's cut through all that jargon. First up on our vocab list is LLM, which stands for Large Language Model. Think of it like a profoundly advanced, superpowered version of your phone's autocomplete. It's a neural network trained on a massive amount of text data so it can genuinely understand, generate, and manipulate human language. Honestly, this is the absolute most crucial tool in your toolkit. Whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, you are using an LLM. It's incredibly versatile, and it's exactly where you want to start for everyday problem solving.
Next up is the concept of a token. Now, AI doesn't read words the way you and I do. Instead, it reads tokens. A token is really just a small chunk of text, maybe a few characters or part of a word. A good rule of thumb, one token is about 3/4 of a word. Why does this even matter? Well, knowing this helps de-escalate that tech jargon, and it's super important when you're dealing with character limits or software pricing, because most AI models actually charge you by the token. Then we have a really fun one, hallucination. This is when an AI model confidently, and I mean with total unwavering confidence, makes something up that is entirely false. So, the crucial point is, you can never, ever assume an AI's answer is 100% accurate. Always double-check those important outputs. Remember, it's an incredibly powerful assistant, right? But it's definitely not an infallible oracle. And wrapping up the vocab, we have RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Try to think of this as giving your AI a real-time fact-checking library. Instead of just kind of guessing based on its past training data, a RAG setup lets the model actually pull real documents or actively search the internet to ground its answer in current facts. Pretty cool, right?
Now, I know there are literally thousands of tools out there right now, but they generally boil down to these 4 core categories: LLMs for text, research tools like Perplexity, image generators like Midjourney, and video or audio tools like Runway. What's absolutely vital to understand here is that 80% of the other AI apps you see advertised online are just wrappers. They basically take these foundational models, slap a nice-looking user interface on them, and sell them for a very specific use case. If you just focus your energy on these core foundational categories, you're going to save yourself an incredible amount of time and money.
Moving right along to Section 2, Core Skills, specifically mastering prompts. This is the absolute foundation of AI communication. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between a total beginner and a pro. Look at the left side, a vague prompt. Just write a blog post about productivity. When you do this, you're forcing the AI to totally guess your audience, your tone, everything. But on the right, we use the AIM, Context, Rules framework. We give it a clear aim, a 500-word blog post. Context, I'm a coach writing for busy entrepreneurs. And rules, keep it casual, include 3 tips. By providing those specific constraints, you guarantee a highly tailored, actually usable result instead of just generic fluff.
We can actually take this one step further with something called role prompting. This is such an amazing shortcut. Just by telling the model who it's supposed to be, you instantly shift the entire tone and perspective. If you ask it to be a travel vlogger describing Tokyo, you're going to get a vivid response about street food and neon lights. But if you tell it to be a business consultant, you get a breakdown of airport efficiency and business etiquette. Same city, same underlying AI model, but totally different, highly focused outputs.
All right, Section 3, 3 practical AI exercises. Let's build your muscle memory today.
So, we're going to look at 3 specific exercises: the fast summary, the script polish, and the data digestion. You know, I love the rule of 3, and these are incredibly practical tasks you could knock out in under 5 minutes using basically any LLM to see the value immediately.
Exercise number 1 is the fast summary. Step 1, find a long, super complex article you've been putting off reading. Step 2, paste that URL directly into ChatGPT or Claude. Step 3, just prompt it to provide a 3-bullet-point summary. This simple, super quick workflow is an absolute game changer for saving time when you're trying to catch up on industry news or research a new topic.
Exercise 2 is what we call the script polish. Take a rough, maybe kind of messy draft of an email, a presentation, or a script that you wrote yourself. Upload it to the AI and use this exact phrase: tighten this writing while keeping my personal voice. This is practically magic, seriously. The AI isn't just spitting out generic text for you, it's acting as your own personal, highly skilled editor to refine your original ideas.
And exercise 3 is the data digestion. For this one, find a massive, intimidating PDF document, maybe a dense financial report or a huge white paper. Upload that file into a tool like Notebook LM or Claude and ask it for a digestible breakdown of the core arguments. This literally turns an overwhelming wall of text into a manageable, interactive learning experience. You can even ask it follow-up questions about the data. It's awesome.
Which brings us to Section 4, solving daily friction points. This is your ultimate step-by-step roadmap. Now, if you really want to run with this and integrate it into your life, I highly urge you to spend just 15 minutes a week on this exact 4-step framework. First, identify a daily pain point or a major time sink. Second, write out a rough idea of what a solution might look like. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, pick one AI tool to help solve it. Do not juggle 5 different apps, it's just going to confuse you. And fourth, iterate. Tweak and adjust your prompts until the AI handles that task perfectly. Just master one single friction point at a time.
Finally, Section 5, combining tools and automating. Let's talk about becoming a builder.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark difference between traditional automations and these new AI agents. On the left, we've got automations. These are very fixed. They follow a rigid, predetermined path, right? Step A always goes to step B. But on the right, we have AI agents. Agents are dynamic. They can actually reason and make decisions on the fly based on context. They basically choose different actions depending on what is actually needed in the moment.
To actually build an AI agent, you essentially need 3 core components. First, a brain, which is usually a powerful LLM to process and reason through information. Second, memory, so the agent can retain context and remember what you actually talked about yesterday. And third, tools. These are the literal actions it's allowed to take, like having permission to read your calendar or draft an email. Slowly building a personal assistant with these 3 components is, for sure, the safest and most effective way to learn how AI agents actually function out in the real world.
I really want to leave you with this thought today. Don't just use AI because it's cool. Use it to actually solve problems. Listen, the user interfaces are going to change. The company names are definitely going to change. But the fundamental mindset of breaking down workflows, iterating on your prompts, and solving real daily friction points, that is the permanent skill. That is exactly what puts you ahead of 99% of people out there right now.
So, I'm going to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Take a hard look at your schedule today. Look at your workload. What is the one daily friction point you are going to solve with AI today? Just pick one task, pick one tool, and go build your solution. Thank you so much for exploring this roadmap with me today. And hey, keep